Pan American Center in Las Cruces, New Mexico. It is day 2 of the Spring Hill Suites Invitational. Tonight, the Aggies of New Mexico State get a big test as they play host to the 11th ranked UCLA Bruins. And M State is looking to bounce back after a 5-set loss to the reigning Big Sky champs North Dakota last night. UCLA, on the other hand, they're a perfect 3-0. A pair of ranked wins last weekend against San Diego and Hawaii. Glad you could join us here tonight, along with former Aggie player and coach Kelly Alvord, Adam Young on hand. New Mexico State has a quick turnaround. They played just 24 hours ago. They were up 2-0 in that match last night against North Dakota, lost the final 3 sets, lost the match. Mike Jordan's team needs a short memory here tonight.
He sure does. Those players have to forget about last night. They can only think forward, think about tonight and what impact that has for the rest of their season tonight.
And the Aggies are led by 5 seniors this year. One of those seniors is Jordan Abalos, who was named all-tourney team last weekend at Notre Dame.
Jordan was a 3-sport All-American athlete in high school. She was named the All-WAC first team last season. Offensively, she's smart with ball placement, but the Aggies need to see big numbers from her tonight. She has the experience, she has the athletic ability, and she has the go-to to make it happen.
UCLA only returns 1 starter from 2016, but she is a good one. It's 4-year starter Riley Bushler.
Riley was named most outstanding player at the Rainbow Ahini Invitational just last weekend. Outstanding athlete, and she is definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Aggie head coach Mike Jordan always gets big-time programs to come to Las Cruces. Last year, Texas A&M and Arizona. This year, UCLA. Really impressive for local volleyball.
It really is, but to see that type of competition come into your home court and to take advantage of playing on your home court with your own fans is huge for the Aggies, and they need to take advantage of it.
It's match 2 of a 6-match homestand for the Aggies as they play UCLA, the 11th ranked team in the country. We have it for you next. Welcome back to the Pan American Center in Las Cruces, New Mexico. The 11th ranked UCLA Bruins out of the Pac-12 in town this weekend for the Spring Hill Suites Invitational. And M State 2-2. The Bruins undefeated at 3-0. Another good start to a year for UCLA and their 8th-year head coach, Michael Seeley, who came over from Hawaii. He was an associate head coach at Hawaii from 06 through 09. He's now in his 8th year at UCLA. He's a 93 Bruins grad. He's a former center for the Bruins men's volleyball program. And Michael Seeley has UCLA rolling once again. They've been to the regional semis in 3 straight years. They are the 4-time NCAA champs. And it's a young bunch this year for head coach Michael Seeley. He's relying on a number of underclassmen. Freshman Mac May has been really good for the Bruins. She was the Pac-12 Freshman of the Week 1 week ago. Their libero is Donna Muno. Their setter is Sarah Sponsel, who's one of the upperclassmen. She's a senior, a transfer in from Loyola Marymount, where she was a 2-time All-American as an outside hitter. And now Sponsel will set this year for UCLA. On the other bench, a man who knows Michael Seeley very well. There's Mike Jordan, the 20th year Aggie head coach. He's kind of like the mayor of Las Cruces. He knows everybody. He's done a phenomenal job with this program. 20 wins or more in 13 of the previous 15 years. And the Aggies are no stranger to playing top 25 programs. Mike Jordan has some top 25 wins during his coaching career. And his crew, it's a veteran bunch this year. The Aggies had no seniors a season ago. They have 5 seniors this year. Jordan Abalos, Casey Tome. Those are 2 seniors in particular to keep your eye on here tonight. Watch out as well for Leah Mosher and Brielle Stearns. Those are 2 freshmen starting from the get-go for the head coach, Mike Jordan. Kelly Alvord is a former player at New Mexico State. Kelly, your keys to the match.
In order for the Aggies to win this game, they've really got to minimize those errors. They cannot give away those easy points. They need to get in the blocking game to stop those UCLA big outside hitters, and they've got to get their middle hitters involved to take some of the pressure off of their outside hitters, get those one-on-one sets to where they can do something with the angles and get those kills that they need for the season.
We touched on this during the Open. Mike Jordan always gets big-time programs in town. They played Texas when you were playing. Last season it was Arizona, Texas A&M. This year it's UCLA. When you played in these types of matches, was there extra motivation? Were you more revved up for a top 25 program?
Oh, for sure. You knew that the spotlight was on them. You were the underdog, so you really got to take advantage of that and really go after them. You have nothing to lose. And it looks great for your stats. It looks great for a national spotlight. And like I said, you've got nothing to lose.
UCLA is the only great program in Las Cruces this weekend. The Aggies played North Dakota last night. The Aggies fell in 5 sets. North Dakota is the pick to win the Big Sky. Then the Aggies will see UNLV tomorrow. And UNLV won an NCAA tournament match last year. And Mike Jordan, the other day during the radio coaches show, mentioned to me this may be the best overall tournament they put on during his tenure when you look top to bottom. There's 4 phenomenal potential NCAA programs in town this weekend.
And bringing in that type of competition only makes your players better. It makes them bring up their level of competition to the more national average where you want to be. You want to be in the NCAA tournament. You want to go deeper. You want to make it to the Final Four or even that championship. And bringing those teams in definitely help the Aggies with that.
UCLA went 3-0 last weekend in Honolulu. They beat the host, Hawaii Ball Club, the ranked 20th team in the country. They also beat number 22, San Diego, and they beat Marquette. They moved up from ranked 13th to ranked 11th now. Nationally, the Aggies, the preseason favorites in the West. Hope you enjoy the match here tonight. Sarah Sponsel will start on serve for UCLA. The Aggies go to senior Casey Tome early, and she collects the kill.
A nice side out, first serve, good pass. The Aggies have a little bit of a faster tempo to the outside right there, and it cut that angle really hard for Casey to be able to get that seam in the court.
Mike Jordan told us a few weeks ago that Casey Tome is the most improved attacker in his program the last couple of years. She's made big strides since her freshman year. The Aggies go right back to her. That one is dug by Riley Bushler, the 4-year starter. A swing for the freshman Moser, punched over by Stearns in New Mexico State. Out of the middle, Kyra Rogers, who averages 2.1 kills per set.
That was a good swing by Rogers. She was up off the ground before the Aggie middle blocker could be able to get in the seam, and just a great angle.
Rogers has a hitting percentage, Kelly, of .478, and we talk about hitting percentage a lot. It's similar to batting average in baseball. If you're over 300, that's good. She's almost 500. I know it's only 3 matches in, but heck of a start for her.
That's incredible, and that just means, if you don't know volleyball very well, that means that she minimizes her errors and she gets more kills than attack errors, and her overall percentage of swings are kills.
And the Aggies were heavy in attack errors last night against North Dakota. They only hit 102, which was a big reason why the Aggies fell in 5 sets. Here's Rogers serving for UCLA, and it's an ace for Rogers, her 5th this year.
The Bruins are good servers. They really make the defense work to get those 3 passes. When I refer to 3 passes, that means that it's a target pass where the setter has any option on the court just about to set to any hitter.
16 aces now this year for UCLA. This is their 4th match. The Aggies going to Tome a ton, this time from the right pin for the senior from Toronto, Ontario.
Good strong swing. The Bruin block was just a little bit late getting off the ground, which gave Tome that angle to hit it off of her hands and high and deep into the corner of the court.
And the Aggies, Kelly, have a number of options they can go to. If you're Brianna Ainsworth, or in this case, Natalie Michaels, who's now serving and setting for the Aggies, there's about 4 options usually to attack for the Aggies offensively.
There is, and depending on how the pass is, will determine which person she is more likely to set.
Cross-court attack is dug by Kaylee Neal. And then double contact is called on the Aggies on a powerful swing by Riley Bushler, who we're going to talk a lot about tonight.
Let's see if we can see that in the replay. Strong cross court. And they called a double contact because it did go off of Jordan's foot. And then she hit it again.
Heck of an effort, though, by Kaylee Neal. Natalie Michaels, the freshman, sets up Sasha Lee Thomas for the tip. And the Aggies get the point. Double contact as well on UCLA. Sasha Lee Thomas, a 4-year starter for the Aggies, who's out of Kingston, Jamaica. She was with the Jamaican national team over the summer for the 2nd straight year. One of the better players in program history, no question. That was Muno on serve receive, a tip for Bushler. Sierra to Sasha Lee. Dug by McMay. Dump play for Sponsel, who's a tall setter. Met by Muno. Overpass kill for Leah Mosher.
And the Aggies need to see more aggressive plays just like that. We see it in the replay. Whenever Mosher went up, she was aggressive right there, did not allow that ball to cross the net over onto her side, and that's what you call winning a joust.
A kill for Riley Bushler. I wanted to touch on this with Leah Mosher. She comes from Ruidoso, and Kelly, very similar to your playing days. Limited club background for Mosher, but she's playing a lot early. Was that hard for you to adjust after not playing much club in high school?
Well, the speed of the game was the hardest thing to adjust to, along with the terminology, not having the background that a lot of these girls do coming out of club, playing year-round. It's really hard to catch up, and you have to work double time to be at the level that your teammates are.
And Leah Mosher is playing right away as a true freshman for the Aggies. There's Mosher with the tip. Met on a dive by Muno, pushed over by Moser. A swing for Battle, mishandled by Simo, and McMay can't save it. The Aggies really need Tatiana Battle to cut back on her air. She's been high air so far this year, and if she can get back to where she was a season ago, the Aggies can thrive, there's no question.
Something that Battle did really good on that last play was that she hopped her feet in right where she was at, was able to elevate and get a good swing on the ball. If you're not able to get your footwork there, then you really don't have a chance of getting a good, solid hand contact and put the ball where you want it.
Slide play to Madeline Gates, the sophomore from San Diego, after a really good free ball from Jordan Abelos.
That was a very strong swing. A slide means it goes behind the setter, and she jumps off of 1 foot. She had a split block, which allowed her to place it right in the middle of the court.
Serving air, Orzana Muno, junior from Hermosa Beach, California. She's the libero, as you see her wearing the blue shirt for the Bruins. Ariane Sierra is the libero for the Aggies. Brianna Ainsworth on the service line for NM State, a junior from Rio Rancho in New Mexico. Played for her father Brian in high school. We're all knotted at 7 here in set 1, the 11th ranked Bruins in town. Out of system back row attack for Bushler, dug by the Aggies. The freshman Stearns gets it to go down. We get a net violation though. And the point goes to UCLA.
They called the net violation on the Aggies, which, you know, it's hard to tell sometimes who was in the net. I do not want that job as a referee.
Our up official, by the way, is Francisco Ayala. Down official is Rob Torres. On the slide plates, the freshman out of Tucson, Brielle Stearns.
So far, the Aggies are doing a good job of getting their freshman middle attackers involved, getting them the ball out of system even, and so I think that it's throwing the Bruins off just a little bit on their scouting report.
Brielle Stearns can fly. Moser's attack is dug on a cut shot by Sierra. Here's Battle into the seats. 2 kills now for Tatiana.
Strong swing from the back row. Whenever Battle had to hit from the back row, she cannot cross the 10-foot line whenever she's jumping. But if she jumps behind it and then crosses, then it is a legal play.
Serve receive from Muno. In attack for May. Aggies doing a good job defensively so far. A hammer swing for Thomas Doug. Rolled over by Moser. Sponsel goes to Rogers, and the Aggies can't keep it up. Sarah Sponsel, the setter for UCLA. As I mentioned, she is a converted outside hitter. Was an outside hitter for 3 years at Loyola Marymount. She was a two-time All-American as an outside hitter. Now she's a setter in the Pac-12, and she's starting for UCLA, and she's doing a really good job.
Having that outside hitter experience makes her a little more deadly on the net, because then she has a little more blocking experience, a little more movement, footwork. She knows where her hitters need to be and when. So I think that that experience really helps her in her setting position.
Pancake dig for Sponsel. Played up by Battle. Ainsworth to Abelos. Double contact, though, on Ainsworth, the setter. Now Sponsel, who just had this pancake dig, she did play beach volleyball at Loyola Marymount, but that's not the same as playing indoor. I mean, you're bump setting a lot as opposed to overhand, right?
You are, but you have to think about the conditions of beach.
Yeah.
In the sand, your body has to take so much of a bigger toll of getting to places, and that really works your muscles in a very different way to make you more lethal on the court whenever you're playing with 6. So it's definitely advantageous for somebody to play beach or sand.
And you'll see that a lot of those West Coast programs, they have beach as well, as Jenny Moser powers it through for the kill from the right pin.
Which I know when I was playing for the Aggies, Mike Jordan really wanted us to practice and do some sand volleyball, but unfortunately in Las Cruces, New Mexico, we don't have that much sand or beachfront property, so we didn't really get to take advantage of that.
Solo block for Madeline Gates. 21 blocks for her now this year, which is tops on UCLA. You could have went to White Sands and popped up a net. And you got your sand right there. That's only like, what, 45 minutes away?
It is, and White Sands, that would have made some awesome pictures.
It would have, yeah. Mosher with a swing. A point, though, for UCLA. Net violation of the Aggies, and Mike Jordan will come out and check with down official Rob Torres about the call.
I will say the Aggies might have gotten a few net violations already for the set, but they're still being aggressive with their swings. They're not backing down, which is really good for tonight. And then we see it go right back to the freshman.
2 kills now for Leah Mosher, who is from Ruidoso in New Mexico, as a 3-sport star in high school. Mike Jordan says she has really good instincts, multi-sport athlete in high school, 6'2". She's starting right away as a true freshman. Speaking of freshmen, here is Natalie Michaels out of Jenks, Oklahoma. Short serve, met by Muno. A swing for Moser, the freshman from Lakeville, Minnesota. My goodness.
Wide open net. There was no Aggie block. She could choose any space on the court and put it exactly where she wanted.
Well, we're getting a good look at this UCLA offense. 333 the hitting clip so far for the 11th ranked Bruins, a national title contender in Las Cruces tonight. Bruins by 4 in set 1.
If I lose.
There's 20th year Aggie head coach Mike Jordan. His Aggies trail UCLA by 4 in set 1 tonight on day 2 of the Spring Hill Suites Invitational. NM State football season tickets are on sale now and start at just $50. Be sure to get your seats for the home opener on September 16th. For tickets, 575-646-1420, Ticketmaster.com, or head to the Pan Am Center ticket office. And Aggie football almost upset Arizona State last night. It was a tight game in Tempe. 37-31 was the final, so do not miss the home opener on September 16th for Aggie football. There's Michael Seeley, the 8th year UCLA head coach. 22 wins or more in 6 of his 7 years with the Bruins. Abelos, after a long bump set, she gets the touch, and the Aggies are within 3 on Abelos' second kill.
And for me, it was kind of hard to wrap my head around the fact that if the block touches it, it's a kill. You know, you think about kills just being whenever they hit the floor on the other side. Well, touches are just as important as hitting that floor.
There's a block. Double stuff for Mosier and Sasha Lee Thomas.
Big block. Mosier didn't quite close the block, meaning she didn't get all the way to Sasha Lee right there, but Sasha Lee dropped her hands inside that angle and was able to get full contact.
And at times during her career, in her 4 years, and she's played all 4 years, Sasha Lee Thomas has been the best blocker for the Aggies. Riley Bushler answers, the senior from Del Mar, California.
And just seeing that experience, so Bushler was blocked inside the court on the last hit. This time she went down the line and was able to find that kill.
Natalie Michaels, the freshman, to Sasha Lee Thomas, and she's sent away. Mac May and Madeline Gates, 6'3" each. It's a big block up front.
Let's see this replay right here. Big block, big hands. Same thing that Sasha Lee did just a couple plays ago. Got in that seam and reached over the net.
Dug by Bushler. Now to the freshman Mac May, rejected by Sasha Lee. Out of the back row is Bushler. Good dig there and a good pass for Jordan Abelos. Battle gets the touch. Outstanding pass on the dig by Jordan Abelos.
It is, and that's something that in collegiate volleyball you've got to be ready for. You have to be able to read the player that is swinging at the ball, and Abelos was able to get her platform behind the ball, keep it in front of her, and get the ball in the air for a set.
Serve receive for Savvy Simo. Slide play to Gates, and it's off the block. A kill for Madeline Gates, a sophomore from San Diego who only played in 12 matches last year. She's averaging 2.8 kills per set this year. Libero Zana Muno on the service line, a junior. Sends it to Abelos, who's an elite passer according to Mike Jordan. And Brielle Stearns could not time her jump.
Just not quite aggressive enough. Even if you're a little early on that jump, you've got to take care of the ball and make sure it gets over the net.
Timeout called by Mike Jordan, the 20th year Aggie head coach. He'll try to rally his troops late in set one. A recent Brookings Institution report gave New Mexico State the second highest score in the nation as a public university that provides opportunities for social mobility to students and produces valuable research. The reports, which public universities provide the most value for, and you can go to more info to newscenter.nmsu.edu. NM State trailing 19-14 here in set one against UCLA. The Bruins picked to finish 5th in the Pac-12 in the preseason, but so far 3-0, and you know every single year that Pac-12 conference is going to be really, really strong.
It is, and the competition there is incredible. They see huge teams all year long, so for them to come on the road to New Mexico State is huge for us, but at the same time they haven't played since Sunday, and the Aggies might be a little winded from their game last night going to 5 sets.
Yeah, unlike the Aggies, UCLA is only going to play 2 matches here in Las Cruces. The Aggies have 3. UCLA is back at it tomorrow morning against UNLV. The Aggies will have UNLV tomorrow night, and the Aggies played last night against North Dakota. So a different schedule here this weekend for UCLA. And it does not get any easier for them. After this weekend, they will head to Lincoln, Nebraska. They're going to have nationally ranked Nebraska Friday and Saturday next week. 8 teams from the preseason top 25 on the UCLA schedule this year. Michaels goes to the far pin for Battle. A little tip kill there for Tatiana.
Not something the Bruins were quite expecting. The setter, Sponsel, went up just a little bit early on that and overrun it.
Brianna Ainsworth comes in to serve for the Aggies. 10 double-doubles last year for Brianna. Preseason all-conference in the WAC. Sends it back row middle to Bushler. Through the seam, a big opening there in the block for freshman Mac May.
Huge swing by freshman Mac May. I mean, you can hear the sound of the volleyball, that contact. It's like lightning and thunder, just boom to the floor. Incredible.
They say that in baseball, too. Sometimes it sounds a little different off somebody's bat. It sounded a little different off Mac May's right hand on that swing.
It did. And you can tell that she's really snapped her wrist because that creates the spin on the ball for it to hit the ground even faster.
And she's only a freshman. She is part of the third best recruiting class in the country that head coach Michael Seeley and his staff just put together. Sponsel backside of May again.
She was wide, however, the Aggies were in the net, so UCLA will get the point.
There's May, former high school All-American, was the Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior. She is from Dubuque, Iowa. Went to Wahlert Catholic. Team high 5 aces, but that is her 7th serving air.
Now serving for New Mexico State, number 13, Brielle Stern.
There's a substitution for the Aggies. A service substitution.
Usually you'll see this with Kaylee Neal for defense, or in this case to serve. Neal, a senior from Gilbert, Arizona, one of those 5 seniors for the Aggies this year. Sponsel backside again. This one to Moser. She's also a freshman. Sponsel with a good setup, but you have some powerful right arms with Moser and May.
Well, and with that pass, it was a 3-pass, perfect pass to the setter. She could choose anybody she wanted, which meant that the Aggies had to stay there for their block. They couldn't cheat to any of the pins.
Nearly an ace for Rogers. The Aggies out of system. Punched up in the air by Sponsel. Bushler will attack this one. Cross court to Sierra. Quick set to the middle, and Mosher lands it in.
There was a one-on-one. Number 16, Gates, was in front of her. And Mosher, right here, we'll see the replay. She gets off the ground, hits the seam right off the block, into the court.
Just watching her play now as a freshman, you wonder how good she's going to be 2 or 3 years down the road. She's so good already.
With more experience and more just athletic ability under her belt, it'll be a fun season here in a couple years.
Dug by the libero, Sierra, out of the back row. A push shot by Battle. Sponsel tight to the pin for Moser, and she's dug by Michaels. Hard off the block, Sasha Lee Thomas. Bump set by Muno. She goes to Bushler. The Aggies dive and dig. Mosher had to find the volleyball high in the air. And a kill for Gates, who mistimed her jump, and she kind of slapped that one over on her way down.
But sometimes that's all it takes. You've got to get the ball over the net. Right now, the Aggies are doing a good job of getting the Bruins out of system with those attacks, but they're not doing a good job of keeping themselves in system.
Another timeout is called. Mike Jordan will speak to his team with the 11th ranked Bruins in town here this weekend. The Bruins are 3-0. The Aggies are 2-2. Mike Jordan always has a tough schedule, and he told us, Kelly, a few weeks ago, he likes to schedule tougher if he can when he has a veteran team. And when you have 5 seniors, it's a little easier to schedule tougher because usually those players are battle tested, and that's the case this year.
They are, and he wants to see those experienced players step up to the plate and be leaders on the court and take the time to mold and develop those freshmen to help them later in the season when they do make it to the WAC championship or the WAC tournament and the NCAA tournament. You have to have that experience under your belt to win those types of games.
And Mike Jordan always has a good feel for what his team's going to be like. Are they going to be a 28, 29 win team? Could it be a little bit of a rebuilding year? When it's a rebuilding year for Mike Jordan, by the way, that's 21 or 22 wins. It's a younger team. But he's been around for a long time in Las Cruces. He's a legend around here. 20th year Aggie head coach. A lot of NCAA trips, 13, 21 seasons. And the Aggies, quite frankly, have dominated the WAC. Now, Hawaii's not in the WAC anymore, and back when you played and back when Michael Seeley, the head coach of UCLA, was at Hawaii as their associate, that was a good rivalry between the Aggies and Hawaii.
It was exceptional. He was actually there my entire career. Those 4 years is whenever I played for the Aggies, and he was the assistant head coach, and that was quite the experience, Adam, to say the least.
Hawaii still really, really good. UCLA saw them last Sunday. Hawaii was ranked 20th in the country. There's a block for the Aggies. Mosier was in on it.
And the Aggies are down a few points, but that doesn't mean they're out yet. They still have just a little bit of wiggle room until they reach that 25-point mark.
Abelos on serve for the Aggies. Good pass there by Muno. Bushler, big opening. Dug though by Abelos. A free ball punched up in the air by Muno. Bushler rejected. May can't save it. The Aggies swat it again.
The Aggies are starting to attack, getting the Bruins out of system, getting them a little bit off their game, but they've got to stay focused. It's late in this set, and if they want back in it, they've got to continue to be aggressive.
Outstanding serve by Abelos, but a really good handle by Muno. Another rejection for the Aggies. How about this?
And the Aggies were there with the double block. Sponsel, the Bruins setter, is in the front row, which means that she only has 2 hitters to go to. She's also a weapon herself, so the Aggies have to be ready for that setter's dump.
Aggies are within 2, trying to pull closer on a 3-0 run here. Great hustle by Thomas and Michaels. Abelos could not handle the dig. 24-21 set point for UCLA.
One thing about it in college, in volleyball, until the whistle blows, that ball is not dead. You have to go after every single one.
Sponsel goes to May, who's turned away. Out of the back row, Bushler. The Aggies playing good defense here. Abelos out of the back row, dug by Simo. The set goes to May. Mosier, Thomas, double stuff again for the near pin.
Big block right there. High in the air, good timing. Let's see if we can see it again on this replay. And here it is, up and to the ground. They even had defensive players there ready for that block, and it snuck right past them.
24-22 UCLA. Sliding handle for Simo. And that one lands in for Gates. UCLA, despite a late rally by the Aggies, they hang on and they take set 1, but New Mexico State playing with no fear against the 11th ranked Bruins here this evening. Bruins trying to go to 4-0. The Aggies looking for a top 25 win. Bruins take set 1, 25-22.
Working together make our communities better.
New Mexico State Volleyball and Aggie Vision is sponsored by Route 66, Comcast, Memorial Medical Center, and by White Sands Federal Credit Union. It was a late surge for the Aggies in set 1, but the Bruins take set 1, 25-22 here at the Pan American Center in Las Cruces. UCLA hit 220, the Aggies hit 189. Really impressed by freshman Leah Mosier, number 21 in black. Kelly, she had 4 blocks, 3 kills. And in that first set, Mosier had no errors. Outstanding work by her.
You know, something you kind of see from freshmen is a little timidity. They're not as aggressive in going in some of those seams, going up against a big-time team. And she has just been outstanding. And that's exactly what the Aggies need to see from a middle attacker, to take those blocks and to do something with it and to create some seams for those outside hitters.
Mike Jordan has talked to us a lot about Leah's instincts. He says she has really good instincts. What does he mean by that?
It means that she does, like I said, she doesn't hesitate. She's not timid. She is quick to think on her feet. And he also mentioned, you know, her athletic ability. She's there. I don't know if if she's quite grasped everything that she needs to know yet, but she's well on her way, and that's why she's on the court. She's proven to Michael Jordan that she can compete at this level as a freshman.
And for her, too, this is the first time in her life where she's focusing on one sport. She played 3 sports and played 3 of them really well through high school. So now she comes to college, and it's volleyball every single day. And that can help somebody who maybe wasn't as focused on volleyball when she was in high school, like Mosher, who, because she was playing other sports, wasn't playing club volleyball. It was just school volleyball. And I know the competition in her area wasn't what she's seeing here tonight against UCLA.
Right, and something to keep in mind is the fact that, I mean, she's only been with the Aggies, what, a month?
Yes.
I mean, double days, and then you have school, and it's the season. Like, there's no time to really work on the specific technique, what Coach Jordan's looking for, and yet she's picking up on it rather quickly.
Aggies in transition. Blocked off the head of Casey Tome. A solo block there for Jenny Moser for the first tally for UCLA in the second.
Let's see this replay. One-on-one, big block, dropped her hands inside the seam, and that would have been a block to the ground either way.
This is Mac May, a freshman serving for UCLA. Running set for Ainsworth. Around the block is Casey Tome, and that's Casey's 3rd kill.
Casey found the hard seam, and you really have to realize how hard that angle is, especially for a shorter hitter. You have to really elevate in the air and get your hand on the ball and get that top spin to where it will land in the court.
Muno on serve receive. Now to Bushler. Punched up in the air by Ainsworth. Overhead bump for Sierra. Right back to Tome. Leaning dig for Muno. Sierra on the opposite side for Avalos, and she's sent away. We've seen a lot of blocks on both sides here tonight.
We have, but like you said, UCLA, they've got some players that are 6'3", that's long arms, really big and aggressive on the net, and they're able to close that block and make a big move doing it.
5 blocks for the Aggies and 5 blocks for the Bruins now. Stearns out of the middle, and it's in. It was off the hands of UCLA anyway. So Stearns gets the kill. Brielle's out of Tucson, an elite athlete. Whenever you see her offensively or heck even defensively, you'll see what a great athlete Brielle Stearns is, and she's also going to participate in track here at New Mexico State. So she's going to be a 2-sport athlete in college.
And that is not an easy feat.
Battle gets the touch.
Battle is able to see the block in front of her, hit it high hands, which the block didn't really have the ability to get over the net on that one because Battle was hitting it from the back row.
A little wide there for Brielle Stearns, and that is her team-high 6th serving air this year. A little high air, and even earlier, Mike Jordan subbed in Kaylee Neal for Stearns to serve. Savvy Simo on the service line for UCLA, a sophomore from Rancho Santa Fe, California. And she aces. Sierra couldn't handle Simo's 3rd ace. There are so many sophomores and freshmen contributing right now for UCLA. It's really scary for the future. They could dominate the Pac-12 in a couple of years. Right now they're 3-0, they're ranked 11th, but they're playing predominantly underclassmen.
They could, and I really like the fact that they're playing a 5-1, meaning that Sponsel, the setter, is in the front row for 3 rotations. That makes her have the ability to be an attacker and use her size and as an advantage.
Sponsel 5'10", and of course she can attack. She's a former outside hitter. Air mails her teammate Madeline Gates on that one.
Just missed it. And, you know, that's a hard set out of system when the ball's off the net. As a setter, the ball's coming to you. You just have a small window to put that ball into for that hitter to hit. And I think it's incredible how setters make it look so easy and flawless the majority of the time.
Serving air, Natalie Michaels, and UCLA's ahead by 2. That was the big bugaboo last Saturday for the Aggies against Notre Dame. They had 10 serving errors against the Irish in their 4-set loss. And you eliminate a few of those, and who knows what happens. You're probably in the 5th set, and then anything goes in the 5th.
And errors are acceptable to Mike Jordan, and he said this in the past, as long as you're being aggressive with it and you're able to get some of those aces and get them out of system. But whenever it's a consistent service error, you have major problems.
The word that Coach Jordan likes to use is a lollipop. If it's a lollipop serve, it's a no-go. But like you said, if you're serving it tough,
I feel like
handle those errors.
I feel like I'm in practice again. Why would you say that?
Adam Young and former Aggie Kelly Alvord with you here tonight. Glad you could join us from the Pan Am Center. Rejected on the attack by Abelos. Mac May, the freshman, great dig right behind Sierra by Tatiana Battle. Good time for a tip. Pancake dig though for Zana Muno. Fans thought it was down to the hardwood. Abelos gets a second attack. Free ball from Bushler. Backside for Thomas, off the hands of Muno. The Aggies get the point anyway, but the fans, their reaction, they thought it was down to the hardwood on the Muno pancake.
That was a long rally. Let's check out the pancake, see if we can get a good shot right there.
I think she got it.
Pancake, she did. She really did. And a pancake means that they put their hand flat on the floor like a pancake, and they're able to find exactly where the ball is going to touch the ground. It's a difficult play, but you see it often in volleyball.
Gates hits the antenna, so the Aggies are down only 1 here in set 2. The Aggies rally late in the first. They fell 25-22 though. They go right back to the slide, turned away by Battle and Mosier. Off speed from May. Battle will get an attack, and she's turned away. Gates and Sponsel. There's that setter. Sponsel, who's 5'10". She could block in the front row.
Sponsel did a great job of setting up the block on that. Battle came just inside, not all the way to the pin, and Sponsel set her feet and got the middle blocker to her angle to really get a good block on Battle.
Mosier for the kill from the fellow freshman, Natalie Michaels.
There was no block in front of her. She had the entire court to choose from.
And I was watching Natalie Michaels' eyes as that pass was coming to her. She was peeking over to the UCLA side, probably trying to figure out, is this a good time to dump or not?
Yes, and because the Aggies are playing in a 6-2, meaning that the setters are always in the back row, the setters have to be careful if they're going to dump in front of the 10-foot line. They cannot be above the plane of the net if they're going to dump and jump. Most setters will probably dump the ball whenever they're standing flat-footed on the ground.
Thomas from Michaels.
And Thomas didn't even have a full swing on that. She had good contact with her hand on the ball, though, and really pushed the ball down the line just past the block.
Now, Natalie Michaels is one of the taller setters the Aggies have had in some years. In fact, in talking to Mike Jordan, he thinks maybe she's the tallest setter since Jackie Troy Parker, which is some years ago.
Hey,
down the line
don't say it was that long ago. She's one of my teammates.
Hey, I'm right with you. Kelly, we're similar in age, and now you see some of these student athletes. We remarked the other day, one of the student athletes was born in 1999, and you're like, wow, that makes you feel old.
I might cry when it gets to be the 2000s.
Your 15-year or your 10-year reunion's coming up for Aggie volleyball?
No.
Your 10 years approaching, right? A couple years away?
Oh my goodness. Why would you say something like that to me? Why?
But it's only 2 years away.
I didn't even think about that.
You can put it on your calendar for 2019.
That's just what I need to feel even older than I am.
A 3-0 run for the Aggies here. Kyra Rogers, diving dig, Sierra.
Ainsworth able to get her hand on the ball.
This is Moser, dug by Ainsworth, an outstanding defensive setter. Rogers with a set, double touch. She's not used to that, so it's hard for her to set it properly. has an outside hitter.
It is, and because the setter dug the ball, that means somebody else has to step in and get their hands on the ball or get a platform on the ball, get it up in the air in the area that the hitters can possibly attack from.
This is a 4-0 Aggie run. Dug again by Ainsworth. Out of the back row, Abelos. Sponsel to Rogers. Right there is Sierra. The Aggies playing quality defense. Moser turned away. Casey Tom and Brielle Stearns.
You know, I was a little iffy on the Aggies having much of a blocking presence tonight, but they've really done a good job of getting their hands over the net and stopping some of those bigger players.
A half dozen blocks now for the Aggies as a team, and we are not even midway through set 2. Attack here on Casey Tom. Side out for UCLA after a 5-0 Aggie run.
Serving for UCLA, number 14, Mac.
Aggies have had some top 25 wins during Mike Jordan's tenure. They've also taken a lot of top 10 programs to 4 or 5 sets. Serving air on UCLA. I recall a few years ago, it was in Tucson when the Aggies took top 5 Texas to 4 sets. Last year, Arizona was taken to 4 sets by the Aggies here in Las Cruces. Number 11 ranked Bruins out of the Pac-12, a perfect 3-0 with 2 top 25 wins. Not a good pass by May. Out of system for Bushler. Sierra saves it in front of us. Ainsworth to Tome, and it's in the net.
And the Aggies have been doing some incredible things on defense, getting the ball up in the air, and that's kind of a little bit of a letdown, a little heartbreaker right there that Tome didn't get that over the net.
Gotcha. Overpass by Battle. An attack for Moser. Dug by Battle. And Tome notches the kill.
Now serving for the Mexican
Aggies by 3 here in set number 2. Out of system again, Bushler. Sneaks it in. What a heck of a cut shot there by Riley Bushler.
That was a long shot deep in the court, and no Aggies there to defend that shot.
Bushler is an All-American. She was an All-American a season ago. Her father is Judd Bushler, who played 12 years in the NBA and won 3 titles during the Michael Jordan days with the Chicago Bulls. He's
different
now the
Michael
staff
Jordan.
of the Lakers. Yeah, different Mike. Good point. The Michael Jordan who played hoops, not the Michael Jordan who's the head coach of the Aggies. If you Google Michael Jordan's name, the Michael Jordan volleyball head coach, Michael Jordan from the NBA, is bound to pop up.
Definitely. Definitely.
14-13. But Riley Bushler's father was also a phenomenal collegiate volleyball player on the men's side at Arizona. He was an All-American, and Riley's mother was a star setter at Arizona, so it's in her blood to play volleyball and to be an athlete.
It is. I wonder if there's any added pressure with that in her background for her, which, I mean, she's an outstanding athlete. It's apparent that she's really made her own mark in this game.
Well, the big question for me was, how hard was it for her not to go to Arizona? Because her father was at Arizona, her mother played at Arizona, and of course Arizona has a great program.
It does. That it does. But at the same time, UCLA means a little closer to home, a little closer to family, which you can't blame her for that.
Aggies with the lead here in set 2 against number 11, UCLA, 15-14. The Aggies have the advantage at the Pan Am. Center for the Aggies and the Bruins. Match number 2 this year at home for NM State. They're going to play 6 straight matches here at the Pan Am Center, and this is match 2 of the homestand. Aggies picked to win the WAC again this year. There you see the points in the preseason poll. The Aggies, the back-to-back regular season WAC champs, but a little sour taste in their mouth from last year after losing in the semis to UTRGV, and talking to the players at Media Day earlier in August, a lot of the players said that was their motivation during the offseason is we don't want to let that happen again where you lose in the semis and after dominating the regular season, you don't get to go to the NCAA tournament.
As it should be. With them not having any seniors last year, the majority of them did get that taste, and they should have learned their lesson to not take any match for granted. It's point by point. Anybody can win on any given night.
Yep. The Aggies have a really tough schedule to get them ready for WAC play. But they are the favorites again, and they're going to be probably the favorites just about every single year. It's rare that the Aggies are not picked to win the WAC. There's an ace. The Aggies go ahead by a pair. It's the freshman out of Jenks, Oklahoma, Natalie Michaels.
So it's getting later in the game. The Aggies need to minimize their errors and really focus on aggressive attacks against UCLA.
There's an aggressive attack for Bushler. Riley Bushler has a team-high 7 kills.
Would you have to expect that from a big-ranked team? They will not back down no matter what point of the game they're at. Late in the game, early in the game, they will come out aggressively and they will not be timid.
Abelos out of the middle, turned away.
I think the Aggies were trying to get a little bit trickier on that. Turned Abelos inside. That meant that they didn't have an outside hitter, a little shorter, quicker attack, which brought both blockers in, and they had it sealed.
Here's Abelos hard off the hands for the near pin. And Jordan now has 3 kills. A lot of players bunched up for the Aggies. A team-high 5 for Battle and Tone. Already a double-double for Brianna Ainsworth. That's her second double-double this year. Sponsel, front set, goes to Mac May. Sasha Lee Thomas played it up and then rolls it out of bounds.
And Sasha tried to get her feet planted, didn't quite get there, and her shoulders were pointed exactly where she hit it out of bounds.
It's a tough adjustment there for Sasha Lee, who's usually power, and that was more of a roll-off speed shot for Sasha Lee.
Well,
short serve, it's an ace.
She did dig it, so that counts for something.
Bruins fighting back. There's an ace, and UCLA goes ahead by 1, 18-17 here in set 2. You knew the Bruins were going to mount a comeback after falling behind here in set 2, and if you're the Aggies, you hope this home court advantage can be used to your advantage, and you hope you learned from some of your mistakes last night, too. This is a big match for the Aggies after having a 2-0 lead last night and then falling in the final 3 sets. That's a tough type of a match to bounce back from.
It is. They are most likely emotionally and physically exhausted on some level, but at the same time, this is collegiate Division I athletics, and you've got to come back strong the next day.
New Mexico State University's partnership with the University of New Mexico College of Pharmacy is celebrating a decade of successful collaboration. Designed to produce more pharmacists for southern New Mexico, the program has included 19 counties and graduated 21 students with a doctor in pharmacy degree. For more info, go to newscenter.nmsu.edu. Aggies are back in action tomorrow night against UNLV. Earlier today, North Dakota beat UNLV in 4. So North Dakota is 2-0, and they're going to finish 2-0 in the Spring Hill Suites Invitational. They will head to UTEP now for a couple of matches. So they only play 2 matches here. The Aggies play 3. UNLV plays 3, and UCLA only plays 2. So a different kind of a setup and kind of an odd scheduling for North Dakota. Now they head up the road on Interstate 10 to play UTEP, I think tonight and then tomorrow.
Wow. Yes, to do it back to back, but at the same time, North Dakota, it's a little ways away from Las Cruces, New Mexico, so they make the most of the trip.
Yeah, might as well get in as many matches as you possibly can at a few different schools.
Make it worth your while.
Mac May sneaks it in back left.
I don't know if you noticed, but whenever Mosier hit the ball, it hit the UCLA libero like on her shoulder/neck area, and that is a totally legal contact because the ball went up in the air and they were able to play off of that.
This is a 3-0 run for UCLA. They trailed by 1, now they lead by 2. Thomas uses the block, 19-18.
And there we see a kill on the stats, even though it wasn't to the floor. It's off the block, which means a kill for Sasha Lee. Out of bounds.
Ariadne Sierra serving. The Aggies with 43 aces last year, nearly ace there. That's off the antenna, and the Aggies get the point. You cannot hit that antenna with the volleyball. If you do, it's out of bounds, and the Aggies take advantage. And we are even at 19.
That was a really strong push. Set all the way out to the pin, but a little bit too far.
Serve receive for Zana Muno. They go to May again, and this time she tools the block, trips over her own feet, and she grabs her fall by grabbing the net. And that's when you know you have some power behind it, when you nearly fall down after you swing.
So true. But she's able to smile about it and move on. The short memory.
Yeah.
Keep going forward.
Rogers hammers it in.
Huge block, fast off the ground. Sorry, not a huge block, huge swing. Fast off the ground, able to find that seam right past Battle. Let's see the replay. She's off the ground first, and Battle was not even recognizing her coming into the middle of the court.
Well, we talked earlier about all the options the Aggies have, and it's the same way for UCLA. It's not just Bushler, it's not just Mac May. We've seen Rogers in some spurts. Gates has played a role with 5 kills. The freshman Moser has 3. So both these teams, the swings aren't coming from 2 people. It's coming from 4 or 5 different people.
Well, you have to realize every person on that court can be considered a lethal weapon as a hitter, as a tipper, getting people out of system. It just really depends on what's going on the play before and what's going to happen, your aggressiveness. It's anybody's game.
Yeah. Mike Jordan talking to his team, trailing by 2 here in set 2. The Aggies are hitting $125 for the match, 200 for UCLA. The Aggies only at 0.57 though here in this set. A big reason why the Aggies have been in this set here in set 2 in particular, all the blocks. 6 blocks in the match for the Aggies, and usually we don't talk about blocks with this team. In fact, last year Mike Jordan the whole year was preaching we have to be a better blocking team, but here tonight the big reason why has been Leah Mosher, but the Aggies have blocked it well.
I think they've done a good job of footwork and being prepared to know who is possibly getting the ball on the other side so that they have more of a double block more often. Although the Aggies have been caught off guard a few times, leaving the net wide open or getting that one-on-one. And UCLA have really done a good job of putting those kills away.
Aggies need a point here. They get it from Brielle Stearns, the freshman. Aggies within 1, 21-20.
And that was a quick set right behind the setter. It wasn't a full pin. She comes off, and that's what we used to call a half. It's not a full pin slide, it's half, so it's right behind the setter.
Ainsworth is serving. She already has a double-double, her second this year. Also had one last Saturday against Valparaiso. Sierra digs. Ainsworth tried to avoid the net, but she just got into it. Wasn't a great pass, and Ainsworth tried to bump it and avoid the net, but she could not do it.
And that's really all she could do with that play. Being a back row setter, she couldn't put it over the net. She couldn't jump up above the plane of the net. She just had to try to get her hands on it.
Ainsworth to toe, block closed, but it goes out of bounds, and Casey gets the kill. Blocked just a little bit late.
A little bit late, and a lot of that has to do with your hand position. If you can get your thumb up and your hand fully over the net to where when the ball does hit your hand, the meat of your hand, you're able to keep it under control into the other player's court.
Bushler uses the block of Abelos, and Brianna Ainsworth came flying in under the net. Riley Bushler leads all players with 8 kills on 24 swings. She has 3 airs. She's hitting .208.
And that's still a good hitting percentage for an outside hitter. About 250 or above is where you really want to be for outside hitters. For middle hitters, you want to be 300 plus.
A little better, too, for Bushler than normal. She's at 178 for the year and just over 200 here tonight. Set point now for the Bruins, trying to go ahead 2-0. Rogers, the junior from Roseville, California, serves it to Battle, who had a dive together. On the outside, Tome. May saves it. Free ball coming from Sarah Spotzel. Aggies in system. They go to Tome, and she sneaks it in on top of the back line.
Big swing for Tome. She got blocked a few plays ago, but she came out strong with that one, came out aggressively, had one block in front of her, and cut it down the line.
And M State brings in Neal to serve. One of the better servers on the team, a 5-foot senior from Gilbert, Arizona. Solo block from Mosier. She has 5 blocks to lead all players.
You know, that wasn't the most aggressive block, but it also wasn't the most aggressive swing. Let's see. Right here, a little hesitant, not up on time, but was able to get her hands up and over the net just in time to touch the ball.
This is a big point right here. And Moser ends the set. If the Aggies were able to get it, we would have went to extra points. But UCLA and the freshman Jenny Moser out of Lakeville, Minnesota, they finish off the Aggies in set 2. So a couple of tight sets so far between the Aggies on their home floor and number 11 UCLA. It was 25-22 the final in set 1, and then 25-23 in set 2. The Aggies are playing well though. Leah Mosher has been really good today. The Aggies trail 2-0. Intermission is next.
$6440.
Welcome back to the Pan Am Center in Las Cruces. Intermission. NM State trails UCLA by 2 sets. UCLA got the first 2 sets. Adam Young and Kelly Alvord with you. But, Kelly, these first 2 sets really, really close. And you mentioned during our previous break all the ties, all the lead changes in the first 2. NM State's been in this match so far.
They have. It's been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the New Mexico State Aggies just haven't quite got the lead that they need to be comfortable enough late in the game.
Let's take a look at the highlights from the first 2 sets here tonight in Las Cruces. The 11th ranked Bruins in town. We've been really impressed by the job that Leah Mosher has done. There's an early kill for Leah, but blocking for her has been a big key here tonight.
It has. She's been really quick off the ground, able to get in front of those attackers, closing the block. It's something that's rare for a freshman right out of the gate, but she's doing an exceptional job for the Aggies.
There you see a kill from Tatiana Battle, a really good rally right here between New Mexico State and UCLA that flies out of bounds for an Aggie point. Riley Bushler's been outstanding as advertised for UCLA. Bushler has 8 kills to lead all players in this match here this evening. But the Aggies have hung in there, 25-22 in set 1, and then in set 2 it was 25-23 in favor of UCLA. Bruins hit 203 in the first 2 sets. The Aggies hit 143, so the hitting percentage probably still a little too low for Mike Jordan's liking.
Yes, and it's been some of those little mistakes where you hit it right into the block even though you know that there's a double block right in front of you. That's when you've got to tool the hands, high off the hands, use it, hit those seams. It's just been small errors like that the Aggies can't afford to keep doing.
Yeah, you can do that against teams that aren't in the Pac-12, but when you're playing a top 15 program like UCLA, any mistake you make is magnified. Muno dives and digs for UCLA. Here's the freshman Moser, and that's out of bounds. Attack air, no touch. 1-0 Aggies.
That net was really moving. I don't know if somebody was in the net or not. Like I said before, I don't want to be a referee.
Yeah, this is one of the harder sports to be a referee. Our down official doing a great job is Rob Torres. Francisco Ayala is the up official for this match in the Spring Hill Suites Invitational. Moser swings again, dug again by the setter Ainsworth. Here's Casey Tome to the back line to Bushler. Rogers over the blocker Stearns. Stearns will swing, and May is there. Roll shot by Moser. Aggies all bunched up. Out of sorts a little bit on their side. May is rejected though. Stearns in tow.
The Bruins tried to recover it, but didn't quite get it. So the point goes to the Aggies.
Well, they went back in the huddle, and Casey Tome right there, number 14 in black, threw her hands up in the air, and she said, "What just happened?" They were all bunched up together, but they got the point. That's all that matters.
What's on the scoreboard?
Moser uses the block for the kill.
Avalos isn't having a super great game right now. Her hitting percentage is in the negatives, and her block, she's been used a little bit by the Bruins, but she still has the experience and the aggressiveness. There we see a kill from her to where she can bounce back. You got to have a short memory, look forward, keep going. It's next play, next play, next play.
Sneaks that one in for a fourth kill. That short memory, you have to have it, especially when you're playing this many matches in 3 days. And what the Aggies are doing right now with 3 matches in 3 days here in Las Cruces. And Mike Jordan has told us, too, he said that's one of the things that makes Casey Tome really good, is she has a short memory. If she has a bad match or a bad play, she forgets about it and just moves on. There's an ace for Rogers.
And that ace just trickled over the net. And as a volleyball player, sometimes that is just so disheartening. You want it so bad, and it just barely plops.
Using the tape to your advantage. Mosier, dug by Sponsel. Bushler goes cross court, dug by Avalos. Out of the back row, there's the tape again. This time played by UCLA. And dumping it in is Bushler. 9 kills now for Riley Bushler, the 2016 All-American.
Something that Bushler's been really good at in this game is really pushing those balls through the block. The block may not be fully elevated, fully over, using their abs, using all the muscles that they should be, and she's able to find and push that ball through it.
Overhand handle for Ainsworth. Overhead bump to Avalos, way long. No touch.
She was looking for that touch, and that is a big block to find, but I'd have to agree there was no touch on that swing.
Here we get a second look, and it looks like nothing touched for UCLA. Avalos got the touch there.
A quick swing down the line. Something that's really deadly about swinging and hitting down the line is the fact that the ball moves so much faster because of the distance that it travels down the line. The defensive player behind the block doesn't have as much reaction time to be able to set up correctly to get a good pass.
Here's freshman Natalie Michaels on the service line. Hard line drive serve received by Muno. An attack for Gates falls down to the hardwood. Madeline Gates, a sophomore, played sparingly as a freshman, making a huge impact as a sophomore, though. UCLA's only hitting 190. They were 273 as a team coming in. Still early, only 3 matches previously. And Gates was into the block.
Good big block, double block right there. I think that the set was a little low. Michaels threw it a little low for Sasha Lee to try to hit. And, you know, with a big attacker like Sasha Lee Thomas, she needs it high and in the air to be able to get a full contact of the ball to put it where she wants it.
Gates again, a couple of kills, a block. 3 straight for her and UCLA. They lead 8-4. UCLA leads the match 2-0. And that falls in for an ace. We may see Mike Jordan use a timeout. We will. Things unraveling just a bit for Mike Jordan's team as UCLA ahead 2-0 in the match. They go ahead in set 3, 9-4. The 4-time NCAA champs, the Bruins of UCLA, number 11 team in the country. They're trying to finish off the Aggies in 3. It's great atmosphere here tonight at the Pan American Center for the Spring Hill Suites Invitational. Second home match in a row for the Aggies. They're going to play 6 home matches in a row here. UCLA, the number 11 team in the country, trying to go to 4-0 and stay undefeated. They got 2 ranked wins last weekend in Hawaii. They beat number 22 San Diego and number 20 Hawaii. They also beat Marquette. It's been a good start to the year for 8th-year head coach Michael Seeley, and they've been on display, and I would think as good as advertised here tonight, Kelly.
Oh, for sure. They're a big powerhouse, and there's something about seeing that type of powerhouse just battle with somebody that's just a little bit not nationally ranked. They're not in the national spotlight, and it's a completely different game. With those powerhouses, you see taller, longer players sometimes, and the Aggies aren't the biggest, hardest swinging team out there, but they're still finding those blocks, they're still finding the court, they're still finding the kills, and they have different strengths that UCLA hasn't seen or won't see this season.
Coaches always say that if you play a team like a UCLA and you're a mid-major, this match will make you better. Do you feel like it was that way when you were a player, that a match like this made you better down the road?
Oh, I definitely do. I remember playing in Nebraska against Nebraska. That was an incredible atmosphere, and just seeing those girls play and being able to compete on the same court with them really raised our game to where we could raise our game the rest of the season, going deeper into the NCAA tournament.
2 in a row for the Aggies out of the timeout after a 4-0 UCLA run. You have to think the Aggies won't see anybody better than UCLA unless they make the NCAA tournament. Bump set by Muno, an attack for Bushler, high dig and controlled by Sierra. A tip for Mosier is out of bounds. And UCLA sided out, 10-6 Bruins.
And that would be considered an unforced error for Mosier. She tipped the ball, which whenever you tip the ball, it better be in the court. There's no reason for it to be out of bounds.
Michaels to Mosier. Sent back over by UCLA. Overhead bump goes to Battle. Dug by Simo. That one tied to the net. May avoids the net, and Abelos digs. And now Thomas hits it off the antenna. Really no angle there for Sasha Lee to do anything with that volleyball.
No, and even though Michaels got her hands on the ball, she left it way too far outside the pin for Sasha Lee to really be aggressive with that set.
Thomas too deep. Attack air, and it's 12-6 UCLA. Timeout by Jordan. I don't know if it seems like the Aggies are wearing down a little bit or what, but they played 5 sets and 5 tough ones. Lasted about 2.5 hours just 24 hours ago when they played North Dakota, but it seems like the energy that was there in sets 1 and 2 hasn't quite been there here in the third.
No, and part of that too is, I mean, UCLA, you see big swings, big attacks, big blocks, and they don't let down. They keep those swings up, and so to have that kind of constant pounding, constant battle, it takes its toll mentally on the Aggies.
Michael Seeley, the head coach of UCLA, used to be at Hawaii. He was there from 06 through 09. He was the associate head coach, and I always hear the stories, Kelly, about the Hawaii and New Mexico State matches back when Hawaii was in the WAC. What was that like? I know you played in the match, or it was your recruiting visit whenever there was 7,000 or 8,000 fans here in the Pan Am.
Yes, we broke the record at my recruiting visit. I mean, I had already committed at that point, but I was more than sold coming to NMSU here for that match. I mean, it was like the Pan American Center was on fire for volleyball. It wasn't just when the Wahine, whenever they scored a point, or us. It was, people were just excited to be in that atmosphere.
You know, we talk about the NCAA trips under Mike Jordan's watch. He's been here for 19 years previously. This is his 20th, so 8 of his 19 years the Aggies went to the NCAA tournament. But if Hawaii's not in the WAC, it could have been a lot more. Now, Hawaii was in the WAC, so a lot of years Hawaii won the conference tournament, and the hope for the Aggies was to get an at-large, and some years they got that.
Yes, and playing those big teams early in the season helped the Aggies to be seen on that national level, to get that at-large bid, or even, you know, playing against CSU late in the, after the season is over, late in the year, will get you, if you are able to find those wins, you are nationally recognized.
I know Mike Jordan talks, too, about back when Hawaii was in the WAC, you would get a top 10, a top 15 program during the conference season every year, sometimes twice, when you played Hawaii. And now you play UCLA and, like last year, Arizona and Texas A&M early, and then you don't see a team of that caliber until the NCAA tournament. So it's hard to gauge where you're at sometimes in, like, October. But he said back in the day, we always knew where we were at because we're playing Hawaii in the conference.
Yes, but on the flip side of that, you cannot take anybody for granted in your conference because they are just as susceptible to catching those wins on you, or even Hawaii. Or I remember one year Hawaii got beat by Idaho, and we were not expecting that. So really, you've got to pay attention to every match. Even though you play up for the big teams, you've got to play up every time.
Rogers on the slide, dug by the Aggies. Bump set goes to Tome. Great dig there by Muno, and she controls it a little bit. The double touch is called on Spotzel and UCLA.
And the set was just outside the pin, trying to get it back in play. Almost got it. Not quite. The referees overruled.
13-9 Bruins. We're in set number 3. The Bruins lead 2-0. Out of system attack for May. Gets it in. Great job going down the line by Mac May, the freshman from Dubuque, Iowa.
Mac May did a great job of setting her feet. Even though her shoulders were facing the opposite pin, she got her hand on the ball and really put her thumb up, able to just chop it down the line.
She's certainly a candidate for Freshman of the Year this year in the Pac-12. She was the Freshman of the Week in Week 1. First dump try we've seen from Sponsel. A tip kill for Casey Tome, the senior from Canada.
Smart play. We've seen some big swings from Casey Tome. Double block, went in hard, and, you know, even when the set is perfect and you come in hard and you look like you're going to swing, that's the perfect time to dump it or tip it right over the block.
Tatiana Battle serving, junior from Albuquerque. Serves it to Zana Muno, also a junior. May dumps it in. Goes off the shoulders of Stearns. Mac May now has 6 kills, but she averages a team-high 3.6 per set, so a little bit below her average so far. High school All-American, was the Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year in high school. Part of the 3rd best recruiting class in the country, this freshman class. Slide play to Stearns, and that falls down for the Aggies. They also call a lift on UCLA. A lift is called on the Bruins, and the Aggies pull within 4. Riel Stearns is going to be a good one. Playing a lot this year along with Mosier and Michaels, those 3 freshmen. Pin-to-pin set to Bushler, and she sneaks it in.
You know, Bushler, that set was not, you know, at 2-3 feet off the net. It was at 7 or 8 feet off the net. And she's got a really good view of the court. She's quick, got that contact of the ball, and really she's an outstanding player.
Tome saves it in front of our camera. Outstanding work by Casey and the camera crew. Overpass from Ainsworth. Sponsel sets up Bushler again. Turned away though. Joust to the net, and Mosier wins the joust.
And that's what you want to see from a freshman middle. Not afraid to go over the net, not afraid to be aggressive. That joust where it's one player against one player and you're just trying to push the ball to the other side.
And our camera crew's gutsy. Get that shot.
Got to be ready to get dirty.
Yes. Natalie Michaels coming in. And so is Sasha Lee Thomas. Nobody in double figures in kills for the Aggies yet. Tome has 9, Battle 7, 6 for Abelos, 5 for Thomas, 4 for Stearns and Mosher. A team high 10 for Bushler for the 11th ranked Bruins. The Aggies are only hitting 132 in the match. They're 103 in the sets. Moser down the line. Sierra was there. An outstanding libero. Turned away by Gates. Saved by Michaels. In front of the up official's chair. Through the seam is Bushler, and she goes cross court and gets it to go in.
Great athletic play by Bushler right there. She jumped it about 5 feet, hung in the air, saw the block, hit it right past the block, and just such an aggressive player.
And a bad angle, too. I mean, that was not a great set to get her in line for the kill, but she did something with it. Overpass, and it goes out of bounds, so the Aggies get the point, but that was close. The Aggies let it go. Almost touched that line. And if it touches the line, it's in for UCLA.
That's right, and something that made me nervous on that play is the fact that the Aggies just watched. They didn't actually go and make sure that it was out.
Bruins by 4 in the third. Slide play to Gates. 18-13 UCLA. Gates, 8 kills, right behind Bushler, who has 11.
That was a good play for the Bruins because, as you can see, Sponsel's in the front row. Whenever you send the middle attacker behind all the way to the pin, that spreads out the block, and that means you've got a pin hitter and a pin hitter.
Back row attack is called on Abelos, who was past that 10-foot line when she attacked the volleyball. The UCLA bench was all over it. One of their assistants, Tony Kerr, was making the motion. Serving Aaron Bushler, her 5th this year.
Substitution for New Mexico State.
5 aces, 6 serving errors for UCLA as a team. The Aggies, Kelly, only have 1 ace. They have 4 errors. Lower air than usual, but just 1 ace.
Well, they are starting to get the Bruins out of system a little more, which is putting the pressure on their serve receive, which is what Mike wants. So I'm sure he's okay with the errors to a point.
UCLA, the first to 20. Zana Muno will serve it for the Bruins. Battle hard off the hands. Tatiana, 8 kills and very low air. This has been a good match for Battle. After being negative in her previous 2 matches with her hitting percentage, Battle is at 350, 8 kills, 1 air, 20 swings. That's a really good sign for the Aggies.
Battle did a good job of knowing who was in front of her as a blocker. With Sponsel in the front row, that means she's got a smaller blocker down the line, which means she has to hit it closer to the net to be able to get those touches. There we see May hit it just wide, out of bounds, so the Aggies got the point.
Aggies trying to come closer. They're within 4 with Ainsworth on serve. Serve receive, Savvy Simo. Slide play again, this one to Rogers. Cross-court kill for the junior, Kyra Rogers.
Another good swing. You know, that slide play is a really fun play because you're just running as hard as you can, and then you plant 1 foot and jump off of 1 foot and pull your body weight up and just turn your shoulders. It's a fun play to do.
We got to see it a lot a couple of years ago with Gwen Murphy, who's one of the all-time greats for the Aggies, and she was as good as anybody on that slide.
Yes, very aggressive. Love it.
Tome, a cut shot dug by Muno. Here's May, and May gets the point. The Aggies just brought in a sub. Number 9 in black is Juliana Salanoa, who's a freshman from Olympia, Washington. She's in for the first time tonight. Did not play in the season opener, but has played in the previous 4 matches now. A float serve is met by Sierra. The outside for Tome. There's Salanoa. Pushed over by Battle. Spouncel to May, and she uses the block. Salanoa was late to get over. It was just Tome on the near antenna.
And Tome wasn't fully penetrated. She was late getting her hands over the net. And, you know, May made it look so easy. She just kind of hopped her feet in so graceful and swung and hit that ball. I know a few middle school and high school girls that would disagree that it should be that easy.
Yeah. Side out for the Aggies on the air by Sponsel. A little too short on the float serve. UCLA is going to win a lot of matches this year. They won 27 last year, just one starter back. But this recruiting class, the freshman, was ranked 3rd in the country, and they're playing right away, and they're contributing big time for head coach Michael Seeley. Picked 5th in the Pac-12 in the preseason. They may finish a little better than that, though. Rogers out of the middle.
And Rogers had the net wide open. Could place it anywhere she wanted with an aggressive swing middle of the court.
Match point for the Bruins, trying to stay undefeated and go to 4-0. Freshman Mac May serving. Passed by Abelos, gets it back from Ainsworth, and it's out of bounds. The Aggies fall in the match. It was tighter in sets 1 and 2, 25-22 in the first, 25-23 in the second, but it was all UCLA here in the third as they win 25-17 in the set. Bruins are now 4-0, undefeated, and the Aggies have dropped 3 in a row as they fall to 2 and 3. Our post-game show is next. We're joined by the Aggie head coach, Mike Jordan, after this.